Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
Welcome to another very exciting session today. We have a very exciting panel in front of us right now. We are doing a session around the MSME panel, which is often known as the backbone of the Indian economy. These are very strange times. I really hope that you and your families are doing great. Today we have some very senior leaders from who are experts within the MSME sector joining us, and it is my pleasure to host this event for them. So let's begin with introducing our very first panelist, Mr. Ravi Nandan Sinha, who is the director of MSME Business Forum India. So I think we are also Mr. Ghosh, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. So there was some connectivity issues, and Mr. Ghosh has also joined us. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Ghosh. Coming back to the introductions, I was going to introduce Mr. Ravi Nandan Sinha, who's the director of MSME Business Forum in India. A very brief introduction because we would really want to jump into the session right now. So Mr. Ravi Nandan Sinha has over 23 years of successful experience across varied industries, including from all the way from tea estate operations to retail sales to defense sales in the financial sector to international marketing, etc., etc., etc. He has successfully worked and won laurels in 100% variable agency leader model of Tata AIA. He has also handled marketing and sales of allied products into defense and CAPF. He was instrumental in seeding the Kotak agency partner model in the state of Gujarat. Mr. Sinha works very closely with the government, trade commissions, for initiating the tie-ups, trade promotions for MSMEs, SMEs in Europe, South America, Africa for various projects under the Make in India campaign. He's also the coordinator for UK and Africa bound exports of industrial raw materials into India and Europe. A very warm welcome to you, Mr. Sinha. I hope I did justice to your introduction. I could have gone on and on and on. So a very warm welcome to you.
Thank you, Himanshu.
It's completely my pleasure. Moving on to our next panelist, we are also joined today by Mr. Indrajit Ghosh. He is the chairman of the MSME Chamber of Commerce and Industry. A few words about Mr. Ghosh. Mr. Ghosh is the MD at Dynamic Outreach and NG Global Events. He's also the chairman at Recycling Association of India, a mechanical engineer. He is an MBA from IMT Ghaziabad and from IBM Institute in Germany. Mr. Ghosh works very closely with the PMO and central ministries and has traveled over 40 countries, addressing various forums and organizations. He is working towards the growth of MSME sector in India through awareness of government schemes, educating them about the GST as well as the CSR and circular economy. Recently, he was also appointed as the Global Peace Ambassador by the Vivekanand World Peace Foundation. Congratulations, Mr. Ghosh, and a very warm welcome to you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
It's entirely our pleasure. Mr. Ghosh, I think your voice is slightly okay. Okay, perfect. So moving on, I think we can, since our audience is here waiting for us, to listen about what is actually going on within the MSME space. There is so much of negativity around. There is so much of bad news that industries are getting shut, jobs are getting lost. So before we jump right into the discussion, before we jump right into the details about what is happening, I would request. I think we can start with Mr. Ravi Nandan Sinha. Mr. Ravi Nandan Sinha, do you have any opening remarks about the MSME sector in India, and just a brief overview of how COVID-19 has affected it?
Thank you, Himanshu. I hope my voice is audible.
Yes, audible.
So, namaste once again to all our viewers. And I know these are very tough times for the country. And not only the country, in fact, tough times for the entire world. Suddenly, we all have gone absolutely on a full stop mode, and then things are restarting once again. Now, Himanshu, there is always remember, when in these times of distress, there are new opportunities also which opens up. Now, before we talk into the opportunity side, let us talk about the MSME per se. Let us understand one thing: MSMEs, or for that matter SMEs, or for that matter large corporates, were never prepared for this kind of an crisis. So also now their strategy, their plannings have changed. Now Earlier, they used to only cater for internal crisis. What if there is a theft? What there is a this? Now their entire strategy going forward will change. So understand, it's an entire reboot of the way they will now start thinking and planning for their future functionings. Coming to the next step is, I see it as a very positive, like the Indian MSMEs will emerge now, because India as a market will come up very big. See, the world is eyeing one particular country, no names to be taken. Everybody is angry upon one big country, but on the contrary, there is a very big emergence also coming up. And that emergence, obviously, I will give you statistics for that, which is India. So I will say when that emergence comes up, it also will bring in opportunities. It will also give Indian MSMEs an opportunity. The time is tough because we are taking time to now restart our economy again. See, April was worst. March was, we were beginning to think, is it possible? June, we started putting our first gear. Understand one thing, while all this is happening, our government is with us. And I can give you examples how our government is with us, how they are supporting it. But first, Himanshu ji, I think Mr. Ghosh will also agree, we are actually coming on the track to start. We are no more what we were in April. We are no more what we were in March. Yes, there is a problem, industry specific problem, labor specific problem, but these are short timed. It will come up now. So things, the best part, what here I would suggest is, the government is standing for us to make us now move slowly and steadily. Obviously, we are working at say 10% of our productivity. We will continue to do that, maybe increase it by another 5% in August. But at least things have come back on track. There are industries which were not moving. Those industries will start coming up again. So if we have lots of minuses, let us see some of the pluses also, and let us see how strongly the government is trying to boost the MSMEs to stand. So I think I see in a very balanced manner. And MSME Business Forum as such, we are always trying to have a focus on what is available to be taken rather than what is not available. So we have a lot of things available to be taken. I will come back to it. But our forte is primarily what is there to be taken.
Great. Fantastic opening remarks, Mr. Sinha. I completely agree with you that the government is doing its best and to support these industries. And at the same time, it's glad to hear that you see opportunities even during the current times. And I think we'll shortly come to that as well. Moving on to Mr. Ghosh now. Mr. Ghosh, thank you so much once again. And Mr. Sinha has given a brief overview about what's happening within the MSME space, and what is something that we can also look forward to discussing during the course of this session as well. So do you have any opening remarks about what's happening and what's the scenario as of now?
Basically, MSME, as far the MSME organization is concerned, it is still little bit unorganized. I mean, unorganized means the people who are put at the industry in under MSME, they also not very much clear what are the schemes are going on, what are the government facilities are going on. And Government of India is also, after independence, they have also not given so much clarity and importance which they have given in the month of June. Because first time the government was given a very large scheme to support the MSME industries, and that type of schemes also we are also giving we are also arranging the funding for them in addition helping them to get the funds according to their capability, I mean eligibility. So the MSME basically it was so much what you can say not supported by the government directly, but which now the government is also understood. If you want to achieve 5 trillion economy, if you want to grow, MSME is the industries, because any industry will start, 95% of the industries start in India under MSME only in a smaller scale. And okay, and over a period of time, I will come back to other issues also in exports and other than.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Ghosh, for your opening remarks. I think we can just stretching the session a little bit more. So before we jump right into the first question, uh, let's look at something. So it's open to both of you, Mr. Sinha as well as Mr. Ghosh. Is there anything about the MSME sector which probably the common public doesn't know, which is probably not getting enough attention in the media, which is something about the companies which is not visible to the general public? Something related to that. Is there anything that probably that you would like to share with the rest of the world, Mr. Sinha first?
Yeah. Uh, Himanshu, we have to understand something if we go back to 2014. While you have to grow your competencies, understand one thing, your quality has to come up to a level which is of global standards. Now, if you remember 2014, Government of India launched Make in India. Fine. And today we have revisited the definition of Make in India. You know what is the reason? There is a linkage between both of them. Why? In order to grow your competencies, in order to grow your qualities, even you have to grow. And if you grow, at times, a lot of MSMEs were fearing that they would lose out their certifications of MSME, being an MSME. So the government supported them, saying that we will enhance the benchmark of MSMEs so that you also grow, because growing means investments. Meeting high standard means investment. But Himanshu, we are correlating this to the core issue, which is quality. When your quality is good, you become a global competitor. When you become a global competitor, your market is not only India, your market is outside. So I'll give you a very small example. People think that Indian MSMEs are only working for Indian segment, or maybe some of them, certain percentage is working for Indian segment. There are segments like metalware. There are segments like wooden artware, hand printed textile, crochet goods, and imitation jewelries. Is there an SME into this? No, it's an MSME. But these are the ones, they are exported to EU, they are exported to US, they are exported to Canada, they are exported to Japan. Come backwards. Who are the one who are manufacturing it? Do you think the listed companies are manufacturing it? Look at the segments that I have touched, which is metalware, wooden artware, hand printed textile, imitation jewelries. Now, government wants, please come up with the quality. Now, government is recognizing the value of MSMEs. Himanshu, no country grows if the big company grows. The country grows when the MSME grows. If you go to Japan, if you go to Korea, the number of profitable MSMEs are more. And that's why the country has advanced. It has not advanced because two big companies are ruling the world.
Right. Right. No, that's actually very interesting, and thank you for sharing. I mean, I never knew that the industries that you just mentioned belong within this space, so it's an eye opener for myself as well. Mr. Ghosh, putting across the same question to you as well, or rather, would you like to comment on something that is probably hidden from the general public about the MSME sector or about what's happening in here?
Basically, there are a lot of MSME industries are there. They are making quality products, but they don't know how to export. That is also biggest problem. It's not like that. Every MSME is not quality is not up to the mark. There are a lot of MSMEs are making very good quality of product, but they don't know how to export. So we are also, as a chamber, started with DGFT combined to give the training program to the MSMEs, how to what is the documentation, how to do exports, which is very 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 necessary. In last time also I have shared with you in a Portler marketing program. Portler, in market they are the number one. So they have they have elaborate how why India is not growing in 5 trillion economy, and how China and US is growing so fast. Because in both the countries, US is also doing almost 51% of exports MSME industry, and China is also doing 49%, and India is doing less than 10%. So that is a very big gap. So that gap has to be, somehow, it has to be, what you can say, उसको भी ठीक करना पड़ेगा. And in coming days, a lot of MSMEs will start, now in MSME also not a lot of, fresh blood are also coming. Young people are also coming in MSMEs.
Mm-hmm.
And they have the ambitions, they want to grow. And Indian market, whatever they are doing, fine. Pan India, there is a requirement. But now they should move out to exports also, so that they can get very good revenue, and they can improve and increase their capacity also in future. The
Right.
export is very necessary.
Right. That's very well said. I mean, export of within the MSME space has always been a major issue. And I think the last time that I read, government is also doing its bit to boost the exports in the next 5 years. So that is great. Now, very interesting. Now
Himanshu, I'll just add here, the latest Government of India figure says the exports of June 2020 is higher than exports of June 2019.
Oh wow, fantastic! And we are sitting in the middle of a crisis, so-called
So
crisis.
I said we have already shifted into our first gear.
Okay. No,
So
that is fantastic.
that is also one of the reasons, maybe, I don't know, maybe for the PPE kits, ventilators, and this, COVID product, there are a lot of, India was not making at all. And now India is one of the largest exporter of this product. Within
Wow.
3 months time, India is now they are exporting to 156 countries all over the world.
Great, fantastic.
After China, India is number 2 in supplying this PPE kits and ventilators and masks.
So as we can all see that good news has already started to come in. So let's in keeping in the positive spirit, I think we can now move on officially into and jump right into our first
Right.
question.
And COVID has totally changed life before COVID and after COVID. So total life has changed. Industry scenario also a lot of changing, and it is emerging. But some new business are also coming up. So whatever bad happened, but you have to come out of it. And
Absolutely.
entire
Completely do agree with that.
yes,
Completely do agree with that.
entire economy of India and the world is sinking now. So everybody wants to come back, and hopefully within 2 years' time there will be, it will go upper side only for all the countries.
Absolutely. So I think now on that note, I think we can now move on to the first question that we have here with us. So how I want to take it forward is I'll present the same question to both the very accomplished gentlemen here, and let's hear what inputs do they have about what we are discussing at the moment. So I think we can take. I think Mr. Sinha, the question to you is that are there any industries during these times of crisis or any segments that you believe have shown resilience, or has the impact been more or less the same across all the businesses? So your thoughts on that?
Good question. I think it's a very positive question, Himanshu. Yes, couple of industries to name with, I think have shown resilience, and in fact, can you believe it? It has shown growth. One is the agri sector. Now there has been the agri commodity demand has not got hit because of the COVID, and so that industry per se, the report suggests that segment is growing and will grow further. Along with that, Himanshu, dairy industry is another industry which is also showing a lot of positive growth. So even during this lockdown, agri and dairy did not get affected to that extent. And let me tell you before that,
I think I have some infographic to add here that probably would give us a better picture. Do you want me to?
Yeah. Why don't you show that?
Absolutely, my pleasure. So this is the infographic that we are talking about. I hope it's available. It's
Yes.
visible on the screen.
So if you see this particular industry has shown resilience, and this particular industry has got less impacted even during the peak of the lockdowns, be it April, May. So I think there have been some industries which has shown positive trends, and now it will be better uh, to grow with it. So agri and dairy are the two industries that I would say are the two industries which have shown resilience. Coming in line with them is also other industries, for example, adhesive industries, industries like food processing, but in a very, very slow manner, not as compared to a dairy and an agri.
Okay. Okay. Understood. Fantastic
like
thoughts.
like Ravi has said, these two industries, another industries, have a very good boost during this entire pandemic. Not a single day stop. That is in plastics and packaging. The
Okay.
packaging industry has grown like anything because in any case, where the previously it was saying that the single-use plastic has to be also banned. Now US, Europe, everybody has given the sanctions to reuse the plastics again because in a pandemic all PPE, ventilator, sanitizer, everybody is packing in plastics and supplied everywhere. So जो plastic bags भी बंद हो गई थी in California and in US, they have also started back to use plastics, number one. Number two, in packaging, whatever material you are supplying during this pandemic by train, by truck, by everywhere, packaging is required. Without packaging, the material cannot go. So packaging industry was not stopped during this pandemic. Like, all big industries like Uflex, Jindal, Cosmo, all film industries, the Vacmate, all these people are not stopped for a single day. They have because it is a continuous process also because you cannot stop the plant. It's a ongoing process. So in polyester, BOPP, or in what you can say flexible packaging, even in the some what you can say food and beverages also, and so the packaging industry was growing. I mean, they don't have any effect on COVID practically. Maybe some little bit delayed by the export. Maybe whatever the export order was there, since the ship is also not going, and there is everywhere is a lockdown. At that point, yes, certain stocks they have supplied, but business stopped. They are running their own business. During the COVID time.
Okay. Okay. Great. So,
And,
yes.
and, if,
Yes, please.
and if you say the very badly, it is one side, and another side very badly affected industries. A lot of industries are very badly affected, like in the auto industry. In the month of April, the Maruti sale or other company sale was zero in India, complete zero. So not a single car has been sold. So, but they have also started making, ventilator or PPE kit also Maruti. Because somewhere you have to keep the balance because to give the salary back to the huge month, they have already cut down the months, that's fine. But if factory चलाने के लिए you have to keep a one staff. Maybe after 3 months, after 4 months, it will start. At that point of time, I'm talking about in March and April. So they thought that was one of the biggest industries that was very badly affected. There are so many other industries also, tourism and hotels completely shut down.
No, I completely.
In fact, Himanshu, what Mr. Ghosh is trying to say is, you have to see where there was highly labor-intensive industry. You see, that industry got stuck very badly, hit very badly, and you have to understand the emotional reasons for that, Himanshu. If today we are stuck somewhere else and the lockdown started, it was necessary. The government had to take these steps. Now, once the lockdown got lifted, those people would like to go home for a while. So we have to understand the mindset. See, please don't forget the Vande Bharat mission where you brought NRIs also back to India. So what happened? The unlock started. People for once want to go back. Mr. Ghosh was talking about automobile industry. Let me tell you one thing. If you go back to statistics, 2018 was an industry. Starting from 2017, where auto industry was being hit for their lowest returns. The growth, quarterly growth, yearly growth of perpetually all the companies were all-time low. But I was reading a paper which was recently published by a very leading university, which says auto industry is an industry to see in 2020-21. So we are seeing this industry may pick up because people will see this. The buying pattern will change now.
Exactly, and the second thing, though it will change the manufacturing also. Already, all leading car manufacturers in India, they are producing here and selling for exports also because they are getting the land is cheap, the labor is cheap. So all these facilities they are getting in India. And during this China situation, whatever happened for the last 4 5 months, there are a lot of other industries also coming to India, including auto also from certain places like South Korea and other places. So again, I mean, this will boost the industry. So whatever he will grow, and the other people are coming, they also will grow. So definitely in a good time ahead, but during this 2020 is a very very tough year for every industry.
No, I completely understand, but glad to see that many businesses are working towards building resilience. So that is probably the need of the hour. Moving on, I think this question I think I'll present this question first to Mr. Ghosh. So Mr. Ghosh, I mean you've been working very closely with the government as well. Would you like to comment upon something related to what probably are some of the relief packages that the government has proposed, or how is government supporting the MSME sector as of now? Because a lot of MSMEs don't have knowledge about how government is supporting them. So would you like to comment on that?
So, government has already given such a large scheme, particularly for MSME industries of 3.7 lakh crores, and total 20 lakh crores for the other industries, other segments also.
Mhm.
But we are also talking to the government. There are certain problems with our system also, which slowly government is also accepting and removing that. First is the single window clearance. If
Mm.
somebody wants to put up a factory in India, the basic problem is you have to run around in 10 departments, 10 government departments, take the approval, and it will take 6 months to 1 year time. So we have suggested to make a single window clearance. Whatever papers you are taking money and whatever the formalities have been done, we are not deviating that, but done it in such a way that within 15 days people will get a license. Because in foreigners also, if you will not ease out the business, ease out the policies, then the business will not come. Whatever people are today talking about, if there are a lot of business from China will come to India, it will only come to India because if there is ease. And if they will not find out anywhere ease, so only plant places, funding or land will not create any further income. So that it is not like that the ministers or the cabinet is not understanding that, but infrastructure, because whatever we want to do in India, it is a very large scale. So it will take little bit time to formulate all these things that government is taking care of. And MSME is a very, this is the best time for MSME from 2020 onwards to grow in India. And there are a lot of industries are also coming in a MSME status, Make in India initiative. When they will make the same product in India, it will automatically make an India initiative. So that is also coming. And people are inquiring all over the ministry, all over the chambers like CII, ICT, PhD, association. We are talking each other almost every day. Everybody is, even the embassies also, they are checking, what is the situation, when the flights will start, and when the government department, we can come to India and, inquire all these details and then take the land and funding. So this is all happening. This is all happening in paper. Only one or two industries came to Agra of leather industry. So there are other industries also touch with UP chief minister. I mean, certain people, whoever is following up from anywhere, they are getting the response. We are also having a lot of responses from Malaysia, Singapore, UK, US, South Korea, Japan, and Australia also. Which over a period of time, maybe October onwards, they will start coming to India when little bit normalcy will come. And everything is related to the vaccine also. Vaccine will come, I think, another 9 to 10 months or almost a year. After that, the business will start easy. It will start, it will go slow, but after the medicine, I think it will take faster. Because everybody has, after all, everybody wants to save his own life.
No, completely understand. So,
And the way you are saying, in particular in India for the last 3-4 days, it is almost 40 to 50,000 per day. And the death is also started now 29,000 per day. So, which will definitely go increase, in the coming July, August, or September. The way the patients are coming.
no, but we are sincerely keeping our fingers crossed in terms of the number of cases that are getting reported on a daily basis. Mr. Sinha, if I may come to you, I'll put this question across to you in probably another way. I would really like to see the silver lining around this thing. So if I may ask you 3 points, if you were to summarize the benefits and the opportunities for the MSMEs as proposed by the government of India, would you like to comment on any 3 points?
Himanshu, I would like to put it like this. And I've been telling in my webinars, I've been writing about it, and we've been telling across all our senior board members have been talking about this. The government of India has not given you a stimulus package. Do not see Atmanirbhar Bharat as a stimulus package. It's an economic package. Now, thanks to this pandemic that we came up, we thought of something economic package which was required. Else this country would have never had, we would have never taken the step. Giving you a very small example, we never had an MSME census. Now, at least by changing the definition, we are linking the MSME's vision, at least the vision, with Make in India vision. So we launched Make in India, but a lot of vision was not mapped. Now we are clearly mapped. Now, second thing is, if you see the packages which the government has come out with, see, one, which is the package where they are giving you an emergency credit line. One, which is a subordinate debt. One, which is a fund of funds, which is for equity investments through SIDBI. Now, all these things are part of the economic package. Now, when we talk, this would have never come up. We would have never taken some reforms, and there are some reforms also which are in pipelines. Why did this happen? It's only happened because the government got time to revisit what exactly we need to launch for MSMEs. And now see the positive out of it. We have had an economic package. As Mr. Ghosh rightly said, textile, or we have been increasing into exports. The India became a hub of many investments also. While I speak to you, while we are here on a webinar, the government yesterday, day before yesterday, have already had a discussion with US and Japan. We will be coming up with an investor meet, and let me tell you, Taiwan has invested in India, and I have the figures with me. Taiwan's investment in India, the MOU signed, is in above 100 millions. And if you see from the last 3 years, it was close to 360.5 million. Similarly, if you see, World Bank is World Bank is aiding India for the COVID related issues. There is investment coming from World Bank. Now, those will benefit Indian sectors. Yes. Now, see this slide will actually tell you that how World Bank has thought about investing into India. Expand lab capacities, testing kits, isolation wards. So all these are result of the economic packages or the economic reforms that we thought about. The policies that Government of India thought that yes, now we need to focus on this many sectors. Also, it's not only World Bank. It's also, I think the next slide, Himanshu will tell us, the Asian Development Bank is also funding it into India. And now this funding is very, very important because they are more into supporting Indian financial institution, which is SIDBI. So they will be supporting. SIDBI has a very nice fund which is supported by the government called the Credit Guarantee Trust. Now the ADB says we will support you into that. Now all these are a benefit for the country. All these are benefit for the industries, for the enterprises. You have the policy makers having economic reforms planned or economic packages coming up. You have ADB supporting India. You have World Bank supporting India. So I think these are all pluses. These are all pluses.
Great. Fantastic to hear these thoughts and fantastic to see some very huge international institutions and bodies coming to support India during these times of crisis. So I was actually moving on. Before moving on to the next question, I have a very interesting question. Sharmishta Shankara Narayan, I'm so sorry if I massacred your name there.
He's
Who's
from
the managing
Bangalore.
director of Blue Match Impact Solutions into climate impact projects. So the question from them is that during the pandemic, we took our time out to talk to our customers and non-customers too, majorly in the rural and tribal areas. Educate them about the situation, organize medical camps, etc., and handhold them during these crises. So the question that they are putting across is, in short, may the panel suggest how companies can take time out to network, learn, share, and care and work upon their strategies. This is a very relevant question during the current times because, with the exception of a few cities, the entire India still remains under lockdown. So I think, Mr. Ghosh, would you like to take this question?
Basically, slowly it will start slowly. It started already slowly because the main problems of the pandemic as on today is distancing. And maintaining distancing is also in physically in reality is very, very difficult because if you go for a purchase of anything in a shop or any place or bank or anywhere, you have to pay. Either you have to pay by currency, either you have to pay by credit card. So if you are paying by credit card, the same machine you are putting your numbers for getting the money, and hundreds of people are using the same credit card machine during a day. So in this way, in different other places also, in markets also, it is very difficult because there is no place. There is a small market. There is no gap between 6 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet distance maintaining in a shop. The space is also not there. So in this situation, I know her very well. She is also a very good friend of mine and from Bangalore. She's a woman enterprises doing a very good job with the support of a Netherlands company. And I will suggest, it has already started slowly. You have to take care of a little bit and whatever rural job you want to do, only keep in mind, this is a serious time is going on. So better, as much as possible to keep the distance and do the job also. In this way, maybe rural labor or these people cannot come to the webinar or in the laptop, but in a video, a lot of people are having smartphone nowadays. So smartphone also, in video calling, you can teach them, you can tell them, what to do. Every time there is no need, you have to go there. And in certain stages, once in a month, twice in a month, you can go and brief them, how to go forward. So it is depending upon the place to place, very difficult to say, for the particular place and how to go about it. That you have to decide according to the situation.
Now, would you like to add something to how companies can network during the current times? How can they, learn and learn, share, and care, and work upon their strategies during the current times?
See, it's a very good question, and I was also reading his question. I think they are also working on the climate impact. This very, very nice to read that. Please understand, sir. There are a couple of things.
I think Shamishta is a lady, ma'am.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is these are the situation where everybody is trying to first get up on their feet. Let's understand one thing. You are talking of learning, then networking. The best way of doing that is through your outreach program, and especially for an MSME. Remember one thing: your customers are the key. And now more so, Himanshu, this is one more era where quality will come into practice now. Everybody will be quality conscious. You must have seen even the vegetables which is coming or you and me are taking in our house. We're very conscious of it. So the fact is, the first suggestion is that we have to give them time to first stand up on their feet. They will, and everybody should have an outreach program. See, I don't see only as a webinar being an outreach program. Please reach out to your clients. Remember one thing, this is very, very important point, is reaching out to your clients, talking to them, because they are also understanding in what situation you are. We have slowed down on our outreach program. Every company, if you see today, even if you see, the banks are reaching out to their customers, financial institutions are reaching out to their clients. So the outreach program has to be divided into various segments. And then once you reach out to your client, then the question of networking starts, where even if he has certain things to tell you or he has certain things to advise and refer you, that he will do. But my point is, reach out to your clients, all past and potential.
Right. Very interesting answer, and I really hope Mr. Shankar Narayan got enough from what our panelists discussed. Moving on to our next question, and this is a very interesting question actually. So once again, open to both the panelists. For small businesses, we are seeing that managing liquidity and making adequate liquidity provisions is a very challenging task. Lockdown has forced a lot of businesses to default on salary payments and other obligations, as we all know. So how can these businesses survive and also revive themselves in such a crisis? Would you like to share some advice, Mr. Sinha? I think you can take it.
Sir, firstly, I would like to say, let us not blame the financial institutions, sir. They have a policy on which probably they are not very aggressive in lending. Sir, understand one thing. The government of India has given you a very nice support in terms of moratorium, because the cash cycles got hit. Today, while we go to a financial institution and we ask them for a loan or whatever credit facility we ask them, remember one thing, they will see your cash flow cycles. Sir, taking a loan is not that important. Repaying that loan is most important. And understand one thing, why was a credit guarantee trust formed? The CGTMSE scheme, wherein the government takes the responsibility when you are lending, it's an unsecured way, is only to give trust to the financial institution which had taken a back step. What I suggest you is, and to all the viewers who's listening to us, is, sir, please understand there are very many schemes which is available. The idea is we opt for a wrong scheme and the bank rejects us. So please go and sit with your banker, understand the scheme, which scheme do you fit into it, apply into that, and I do not see any reason. Yes, there was a reason of slowdown, because if you understand, 1st April was also merger of many banks. So the banking process got slowed. Things are back to normal. The consolidation has happened. But most importantly, understand under which scheme you want to go and apply. And yes, there will be certain schemes which is applicable. The turnaround time might be a little slow. And for certain sectors, the bank will take some time to come back. For that, there are other solutions. If you have your bigger clients, there can be if your bills are unpaid, we can support you in terms of bill discounting. We can support you in terms of raw material purchase finance. So these things are available. And Himanshu, I think if anybody has issues onto that, we'll be more than happy, MSME Business Forum, to help you. So they can write to you, and we'll be more than happy to assist them.
That's actually fantastic. It was very interesting insights on this thing. So Mr. Ghosh, coming on to you, I think same question.
Same, whatever he has briefed is absolutely fine. And this is the main problem in the industry also. But if anybody with MSME registered members, they want support, how to get it, how to get the loan, what is the process. Like Mr. Ravi has said, we are also doing the same job, helping the MSME industry. So you can ask them to contact us. We will definitely help, because we are doing these things on a everyday basis. And if you see the previously the 3.7 lakh crores announced for MSME, and everywhere people were going to the bank, and bank was issued. We don't know the scheme, we don't know any details. It was first month of the scheme. After that, as on today, 1.93 lakh crore already disbursed from MSME loan. And I spoke to a lot of people in India who, yes, who said, we got the loan in different places. So now it is happening, but everything, everybody should understand one thing, Indian government or any government was not faced this type of problem in the last 100 years or so. So nobody was prepared. Everybody is asking for a support. Fine, but again, I told you, India is a very large country. If you want to give any scheme of 2 rupees or 20 rupees or 2 lakhs, it's a huge amount. So it will also take some time. So now it is slowly progressing. Plus, you must have seen, petrol and diesel prices have gone up to 80 rupees. What government is doing, whatever the schemes, money they are giving, they also need money. किसी bank से तो इतना पैसा होता नहीं है. What they are doing, they are getting the GST, profit of the petrol and diesel, and the selling has started so that they are getting the GST also. So it will be helping, to give further scheme or any facilities, because recently MSME के लिए उन्होंने 50,000 की आत्मनिर्भर scheme भी उन्होंने announce किया, and there are other schemes are also in the pipeline. They are working on it, how to support it. But in government of India now fully understood this time, if you will not support MSME, you cannot grow as a country. So that is basically, plus point in this pandemic. Yeah, at least, and they will support. Why? If we are not making PPE ventilators till now after 70 years of independence, and we make it within 2 months' time, and we are the one of the second largest supplier in the world. So other products also, whatever resistance also coming in China business, and shifting from China also. So a lot of people that come, India will produce the product, and आप देख लीजिए TikTok or all these apps, we have 59 apps we have banned. Our Indian brothers and sisters, they will make very soon. There will be no shortage of apps. We can do anything. Not only we are focused on that line. Now we have to focus, because since government of India is banned, so we will focus on a lot of things will come up. Reliance is also working in Jio. They are also coming up. So I think over a period of some time, 2 years time, the entire scenario will change.
Okay, fantastic. Before I move on to the next thing, I think there is one small request, Mr. Ghosh, if you can. I think your microphone is moving, so it's creating a little bit of disturbance. I think we can get this sorted if it's stationary. Great. Not an issue. So yes, very well mentioned, and very it's very good to know that bodies like MSME Business Forum and MSME Chamber of Commerce and Industry are more than happy to support the SMEs during these difficult times. So I would actually request if anyone within their business is facing any such issues, please feel free to reach out to these gentlemen. They'll be more than happy to support you. I actually have a very interesting question that has come up to me, and I actually would like to discuss that question further. Bhaskar writes that we are hoping to ban Chinese imports and substitute with our products. But what I feel, people like us, we import a lot of products for our automotive systems, are feeling pressure from customer for price benefit, and I feel that we may find it difficult to match Chinese pricing. And if government reverses their policy, where do we land? Mr. Sinha, would you like to take it?
Himan, yeah, please. I think Mr. Ghosh wants to speak. Mr. Ghosh?
You can also.
Yeah. Bhaskar, there are certain things, these are under reviews. So it cannot be reversed overnight. There is an international pressure, and not only apart from that, there are reasons why these things have been levied. Also understand why the pricing in China is very competitive, because they manufacture in huge quantities, and which cannot be matched by any other country. On the contrary, let me tell you one thing. It is being talked about. The matter has been raised by very many associations to look into this. So you will hear something about this coming from the government of India very soon. That's the information I can give you, because talks have put in their request. However, going forward, we have to build our own capacity planning so that we can match the rates.
It is going to happen. Once the problem will start, the solution will also come. And maybe it is not possible in one day to match the capacity of China, but over a period of time, very fast, it will take care. There are a lot of I mean, Indian businessman is also there. They are also looking for an opportunity to grow, and new lot of things are coming up. And I think over a period of 2, 3 years, 4 years time, a lot of changing will be happening in India of lot of products because uh, politically, I don't want to explain anything, but the situation politically is as such with China, with the rest of the world, is not good as of today. So if your relations are not good, then business cannot happen. So you have to have make all those products. So government of India, particularly MSME, they are already targeting which are the products China is exporting and which are the products China is importing also. And all these various data and everything is already one department in MSME under the leadership of Mr. Nitin Gadkari. They are already on the job getting the basis. So all data and everything is collected so that some people are coming to India. We want before coming to India, we will approach them to come to India. So we are doing both ways. A lot of people are inquiring, and those people who are not inquiring, we will approach them also with these are the facilities we can give you. On this contest, I can tell you, if previously also I shared with you, there is a huge railway line is from Delhi to Bombay via rural area. We have line, direct Delhi to Bombay inside the city, but there is a line is going out for rural areas. So it will cover 5 states. And government of India wants in one side of the rail line they will make smart villages to stay, and the other side they will make all parks, logistic parks, textile parks, recycling parks, food and beverages parks. So it will cross 5 states, and one side is the residence and other side is the factory. So that is the government of India planning now, and the land are very cheap because of the rural area. So, if in foreign countries also, if anybody wants to come, or in Pan India also, anybody put a factory, they will get a lot of facilities there. So, in other way, this is the one place. In South India also, they are planning something. So, everywhere, all the ministries, whoever based on which area or which place, they have already started working, how to build up, more and more. Gujarat is also doing, UP is also very fast. They are working, giving the clearances if anybody is coming up. So it will happen, everything will happen, but it takes some time. And the another main problem is the entire world is lockdown condition. There is no flight facility, there is nothing. So business cannot happen 100% on webinar. So it has to be, they have to see they have which land they want to take, what is the facilities, what problems they are facing. So all these things will start when they will come, and automatically the solutions also will start coming. Once we will meet the, we are arranging a lot of meetings with the government, with the industries. Once they will brief, we want this support from the government will also start thinking if other people are asking the same thing, certain industries, the government will also take, how to do it, how to give the better facilities to the people. Because everybody is new in this way, nobody came in India. इक्का दुक्का कोई industry आ जाता है साल में 2 साल में, वो अलग बात है. But now lot of big chunk of industries want to come. And if you will see in the total entire universe, 750 crore people are there. Out of that, China and India is almost 300 plus uh, population. So to replace China is not possible overnight. But to start thinking on that line, only country is India who can do the supplements, I mean, alternative. No other country in the world who can give the alternative in terms of, because if you are leaving China market also for some time, you will get the same market in India only, nowhere else. So that is also a plus point of India.
Right.
And fortunately, India is a democratic country, and fortunately for the last 6, 7 years, 10 years, we have very good relationship across the board, across the world. So that is also an advantage. And I have spoken to a lot of people. They are not very happy to put up the plant in China because it is a communist country. But they said, we are also democracy, and India also democracy. We can speak, we can discuss, we can say our view, we can keep our view. So we will love to come to India if India is also giving some benefits to the industry. So we are talking to the states also. If any states will give, the first 3 months electricity free, or any types of scheme for certain period to give the leverage, to give the incentives to attract the businessmen.
Right, right. No, I understand. I hope your question was answered, Bhaskar. It was fantastically answered by both the gentlemen here. As we are approaching towards the end of the session, I would like to take, I think, one or two questions very quickly before we finish. Mr. Sinha, even during these times of difficulties, which segments do you see are the sunrise sectors, as per your observation?
Himanshu, without any doubt, food processing is one industry where undoubtedly we are going to see and we will see unprecedented growth. We will see unprecedented demand. We will also see investors coming into this particular segment. And also, Himanshu, if you recall, yes. So food processing is one industry which will come up in a big manner. Now, second thing, if you remember, we were discussing in the uh, webinar about how our exports have increased. So I would also like to tell you, and I think you can show that slide also, wherein we have become for textile sourcing, we have become a sourcing center, global sourcing center. So which is a very powerful news again. So this goes to show that big brands are coming and sourcing from India. So these are all positive news. I don't see a reason. Not this one, the other slide. This one, yes. So you can see the big brands coming and seeing their sourcing needs from India. These are all very positive news. And Himanshu, while I speak, let me tell you, to all the viewers who will be listening to us, maybe they may be knowing. Apple has started their manufacturing called IN. It is Apple 11. Now that is iPhone 11. That will be made in Chennai. So come to think of it, India is now going into a shift. So we will have a new iPhone 11 which will be manufactured in Chennai. So these are very, very good things. Now also, if you see for a technology transfer, if you see Osho Group is tying up with India in terms of making portable multi-feed oxygen ventilators. So I see these as a very, very prominent sector. Like I told you about automobile, let me tell you, see the figures of 2017-18. The pharma industry was not growing at the rate that was expected. Suddenly there is a shift into that. So I think overall we can see that these are a couple of industries which will see a good growth, and I am very optimistic about it.
Mr. Ghosh, would you like to add to some of
Like
the industries which are supply sectors? Yes, yes, please.
in this COVID situation, 12 more than 12 crore people have lost their job, formally or informally, informal sector also. But there is, when anything happens bad, good times also will come. Coming, 1 year or 10 months is very tough. Those people who lost their job. But after 8 to 10 months, what I, according to my working, whatever I understand, again the recruitment will start, because there are a lot of people who really want people to grow, but they have stopped recruiting for another 6 months time, just to see what business will take shape, because export orders is not coming today for the regular items, because everywhere is a lockdown or some kind of problem is there. So they are also settling down. So over a period of 8-10 months, this is the crunch period for the entire industry. Slowly, by 8-10 months onwards, everybody will be shifted to. There are a lot of new industries also coming, new jobs also created, and those people who want to expand, they will also start recruiting after December or January.
Okay,
They
okay.
have the requirement, they have the planning, but they don't want to grow just now. I mean, invest because of this situation.
Understood. I do understand. I think the audience is, now asking a couple of more questions. But before I come to that, I'll come to that very shortly. I think I can take one final question, which is very important that, probably would benefit a lot of people here. It is that which segments within the MSME space are at this moment really ripe for private equity? This is a very one of the most commonly asked questions, and I think it will be great to hear insights on this. Mr. Sinha, would you like to start?
Yes, Himanshu, we are already getting a lot of fillers because we got our own investor pool. We do a lot of investments into startups because our forums are working into that line. And the fillers that we are getting is that yes, cold chain is one area where investors are eyeing their footprints. Cold chain. Government is also pushing a lot into cold chain. We are in talks, and again, food processing industries where we are getting a lot of inquiries. They want to have their footprints into this industry. Incidentally, Himanshu, it will be a good information for you. There is one industry wherein brands and new players want to come and invest, and people had never thought that this is an unstructured industry, but a industry which is continuously growing. In fact, one of my friend who's also a partner and a very valuable advisor in MSME Business Forum India, Mr. Uh, Vivek Rathore from Mumbai, his study states confectionery industry is on a growth, and I'm very thankful to Vivek for his inputs to MSME Business Forum India. So that's again a sector where you will see a tremendous amount of people now wanting to streamline their, put a brand into it. So keep a watch on confectionery industry.
Oh, yes, certainly. Mr. Ghosh, would you like to add to this?
Again, the same thing, startups and cold chain, they are all mainly focused on that. And second thing, if you will see company like Flipkart, Amazon, they have also, done wonders with the help of the equity for the last 2-3 years, whatever they are working. Lot of very big brands are also coming to India very soon. In terms of confectionery, there is huge market. In this type of market, they will never get anywhere. And purchasing power is also growing now. And definitely, these are the industries will grow in a faster way.
Right. No, I do understand. Uh, I have a question from one of the attendees. I unfortunately do not have his or her name, but the person asks that do you feel that a lot of processes are going to be automated due to the inavailability of labor force at this moment? Do you think that happening? Do you think technology taking over?
Himanshu, we will have to understand this is for growth, for quality. This automation will have to come in, and a lot of industries have understood that this COVID has also given them a hit. Please understand the labor force have not yet returned back, so it will take them. I see not them returning before Rakhi, because post Rakhi or post Savan will the labor force actually start thinking of returning back to their homelands. But it's both ways. If you want to grow quality aspect, competitions, you'll have to go in for automation. And also a lot of industry having been taken this hit will also think of going into automation. So this is something which is, you cannot stop it now. It is going to be the way digitalization is now the new normal. It is all matter of time when they will have money to invest into their uh, capital investment and go into automation.
Right. I think
Actually,
yes.
as a industry or as a country, if you want to grow fast, we have to grow fast. So if you want to grow fast without automation, nothing can be possible because manually whatever you do and automation if you will do 100 times faster than that. So automation has to come. That I mean everybody has understood that. And
Right.
in the machinery also in foreign countries, they have a new machinery that's making only digitally sound and automation automated. So that will not be a problem. I think machines will come wherever required. But automation, yes, it is must required.
Right. No, that's
I,
that's very well put. Yes, yes.
Himanshu, I think there was one very valid question put in by one of our participants who said that will the government go in for further relaxation of interest rates? I think that's one of the questions. So, sir, ma'am, whoever you are, it's highly unlikely. I think we are now at a stage where there may not be more of relaxation. So, we are now coming back to reviving our economy. So I think the moratorium that's ending on 31st of August will also not get extended. Neither any of the financial institution wants. So let us not wait for any further dip in the interests.
Completely do understand that, and thank you so much for the fantastic answers. And also just to supplement one of the points that both of you mentioned, technology is something which probably we've learned the hard way that it is now time that every business should embrace technology now going forward. So I think that's our time for today's. I once again would like to thank my warmest gratitude to both our guests here, Mr. Ravinandan Sinha and Mr. Indrajit Ghosh, for joining us today. We've had a very good discussion, and one of the best things about this discussion has been it's been on a very positive side, that we've actually been able to cover the positive side of what's happening within the MSME space. And I hope our guests have also enjoyed listening to both the gentlemen here. So once again, thank you so much for your time here. And to all our audience here, thank you so much for joining us. I really hope you enjoyed this session. If you have any questions regarding Mr. Ravinandan Sinha or Mr. Indrajit Ghosh, please feel free to write to us. We'll be more than happy to connect you with these gentlemen, and maybe they can help you with your business. And
today's discussion, whatever we have discussed and whatever going to happen in the coming 2 years' time, all of things are depending upon the India, China, US. If something happens in the Third World War, then everything will go haywire.
right. Thank you so much once again, and have a fantastic weekend ahead. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you.